Council. It's Jarrod Blendy again, back, the camp director at Fireland Scout Reservation, and I am here with my friend Jake Brown. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jarrod, how's it going?
Oh, it's going fantastic. We are here tonight to do some really cool instruction with some of our favorite things. You want to introduce it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely, Jarrod. Tonight we'll be doing the 7 principles of leave no trace, as we've been able to figure out to teach you from our homes.
Absolutely. This is going to be a session for both our Cub Scouts and our Scouts PSA, or anybody following along. So stay tuned for some great instruction and some fun activities that you can do at home as well. But I'd like to start off showing exactly all 7 of our leave no trace principles and a really fun way to remember each of them. So Jake, this is a repeat after me instruction.
This is a repeat after me instruction.
With hand motions.
With hand motions.
All right, our first principle, number 1, is know before you go.
Know before you go.
Our second one is choose the right path.
Second one, choose the right path.
Number 3 is trash your trash.
Number 3, trash your trash, okay?
Very good. Now 4, like this, is leave what you find, take pictures, and leave footsteps.
Okay, so I'm going to number 4, take pictures, all right? And I'm just going to leave footprints, that's it.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, number 5. Number 5 is be careful with fire.
Ooh, I get to be careful with fire. Nice.
Very good, Jake. Number 6 is like this, we want to respect wildlife.
6, wildlife. Oh, I can get used to this, Jarrod. This is fun.
Very good. And we're already to number 7, which is be kind to other visitors with a peace sign and a high five.
All right, number 7, we're going to be kind with a peace sign and a high five.
Very good. That was all 7 principles. Now we're going to go through each one of them in depth, starting off with that first one, know before you go, or also known as plan ahead, prepare.
Absolutely, Jarrod. So here's the deal with plan ahead and prepare, guys. We got to know before we go for just about anything. Today, for example, I've got to know before I go to the grocery store. So I've made a list. I've made a list of things that I need to buy and where I might be able to find them. This allows me to not buy things that are not on my list that I don't need. The same thing applies when we're going on a trek or an outing. Let's say we're going for a day hike. I need to make sure that I've got hiking boots and maybe a walking stick to stay safe on the trail. We should make sure there's a first aid kit too, just in case something bad happens. But I don't need to bring my backpacking backpack or my sleeping bag. I certainly don't need like a little camp stove unless I'm gone all day. That is all extra stuff I don't need. It's gonna make my trip a little more miserable because I have to carry it, and it's gonna make it just adds too much stuff. So I'm gonna only bring what I need to bring so that I'm wasting as little as possible. This applies to all facets of life, from a day hike, even to going to the grocery store. It's especially important when we're doing more high adventure stuff, such as backpacking. You want to make sure that your itinerary is shared with other people. You want to make sure that you have plenty of food and water available and a plan to be able to find it in the wilderness just in case you run out. You also want to make sure you've got plenty of shelter. There's a bunch of stuff to plan ahead and prepare for. Like I said, it's also that you waste as little as possible while having the most fun. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense, Jake. I think that's awesome right there. And I think you're right, especially during these times. Making a list for our grocery store is going to get us in and out as fast as possible, which is what we want in these times when we're around other people. Remember, social distancing. All right, our second one, we're going to talk about be careful with fire, or to minimize your campfire impacts. Campfires can be one of the most impactful things that we can do in the outdoors. And we know that scouts love to have campfires to sing songs around, roast marshmallows, do some cooking. But we may not always need a campfire on our outings. And as Jake said, if we plan ahead and prepare for the things that we actually do need, we'll have a much better experience, but also leave the least amount of impact. I'm going to share with you a couple ways that you can do that specifically around campfires. So if I'm relying on a campfire to cook all of my food or to stay warm, that's going to be a big deal because I'm not only impacting the ground that fire is on, leaving some scorch marks, but also I'm taking resources from the environment, those wood and that kindling and everything that we're using to feed the fire, and that doesn't get to go back into the environment after the campfire is done. So it's kind of a twofer on how much impact that leaves. So instead, I'm going to share with you one of the things that I have here, and it's my campfire stove. This is a jet boil, but there are many different kinds of campfire stove or camp backpacking and camp stoves that you can use. And I can use this right here and have my own little personal fire. Remember, if you're doing this indoors like I am, you want to do it in a very ventilated area like I am. And I can use this to boil my water as a personal heat source, but also to do all of my cooking. So once I've got that going, I can have a nice hot meal, and I'm not left any impact behind because I'm taking all this stuff with me and I'm not taking anything from the environment when I'm cooking my meals or keeping myself warm. I'm going to turn off my campfire here. Stay safe. Very good. And let me introduce you to my new home. This is Campsite Central in the Bluntney home. And I've got my tent set up, and sometimes the campfire is not just for the necessity of heat or warmth or food, but it's just for that ambiance. We like to sit around our campfire and tell stories and just enjoy each other's socialness. I've got my dog here. Hi, Ben. He enjoys our campfires as well. So what I've put together is a little makeshift indoor campfire. You can use this outdoors as well. It's just a headlamp, but then something that makes a little bit of light. So you can use a milk jug, or like I have a Tupperware here. Yes, Ben likes this a lot. And you can use this as your centerpiece for your campfire. Works really well.
That's awesome, Jarrod. It's especially cool because I know sometimes we'll go camping, especially like out west, where they won't even let us have fires. That's an awesome tool to be able to have.
Yeah, you can also do a pan fire where you keep your fire off the ground and you take it all back with you. A little bit harder to show that here indoors. That's another skill that you can check out and practice while you're at your home.
Nice. That's pretty cool, Jarrod. All right, now I know you're wondering, why am I like walking in circles in this hallway? Is that right, Jarrod?
I have been wondering that. It's a little bit distracting, but I figured there was a reason.
I'm sorry, I don't mean it to be distracting. The reason I'm doing it is because the next principle we're going to talk about is traveling and camping on durable surfaces. So let me do a quick little transition here. I have been walking on my carpet while you've been doing the last one. You know, I'm trying to plan ahead and prepare a little bit here. And so now that I've been walking in a circle for a while, this part of the carpeting is a lot more padded down than this part of my carpet. I'm not sure.
It's a different color.
Oh, cool. You can see it. Awesome. So I wanted to show you this because traveling and camping on durable surfaces is very important. I want you to think about this carpeting like grass. You wouldn't want to just hike around on fresh grass, especially matting it down, because that's leaving a trace. So instead of just leaving this trace right here, I'm going to fluff my duff a little bit.
Fluff your duff?
Yeah, I know. Fluff your duff. It's a weird term, but what it means is you're basically just bringing that padded down grass or carpet or whatever it is, you're bringing it back up to its normal state so it doesn't die.
Okay, so you're kind of removing the trace that you've left.
Exactly. It's all about leaving no trace whatsoever.
Interesting.
Tell me, Jarrod, if you do the same activity on like your hardwood floors, do you see the same result?
Well, actually, I've been doing that while we've been talking here, and Finn has been as well. And if I get down on the ground, I can't see anything of where I was.
Wow.
This must be a much more durable surface, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I would call that, a lot similar to like a hiking trail or even a major highway.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for those durable surfaces, like the highway, where we have all of our cars going one direction, that's a great example of either dispersing your use or concentrating your use. So on those durable surfaces, we can concentrate our use. But for like your carpet, we want to make sure that we spread out so we don't leave as much trace having one footprint right after the other in the same spot. I bet that would make a difference as well.
Exactly. My landlord would not appreciate that.
No, I bet not. All right, well, let's move on to our next one, which is going to be really fun. We have a couple different ways to explain our next principle, which is to dispose of waste properly. Remember, number 3, dispose of waste properly.
This is my favorite one, Jarrod. I'm so excited.
Fantastic. Now, obviously we want to take care of anything that we bring with us, but sometimes we can't necessarily take care of all of our human waste to bring with us. So in those cases, where do we have to do that?
Dispose of our human waste or like our garbage?
Well, our human waste. Let's go with that one first.
Okay, so if we're disposing of human waste, that's an important point because sometimes indoor plumbing just isn't an option. So what we've got to do, we've got to create a cat hole. All right, you ever heard of that before?
I have a cat hole like my cat would do.
Perhaps a little bit, yeah. So a cat hole is literally just a hole that you dig. It's 6 to 8 inches deep, which is, I don't know, about like that.
Sure.
In addition, the cat hole is 200 feet away from water.
200 feet?
200 feet. I know, that's a lot of feet. It's 200 feet away from all of these things, water sources, campsites, and trails. You got to be 200 feet away from all those things.
And from other people watching me too, huh?
Yeah, you want to have some privacy too. That's usually good.
Yeah. Well, I've set out a tape measure here so I can kind of visualize how far exactly 200 feet is. And this is 10 feet here. So I'm thinking, let's see how many of my paces it takes to go that 10 feet, and then we'll do a little bit of math. So
okay.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5 of my paces is 10 feet. So if I do those 5 paces 20 times, that should get me about right, huh?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so how about we'll do a little bit of test here. I'm going to show how far that 200 feet, I'm going to do this 20 times and see if you can explain about the non-human waste, the waste that we either take with us or we pick up on the trail, and we'll see who's done faster.
All right, that's a great plan, Jarrod. So I'm going to switch the screen here a little bit and show you guys some common trash items that there we go, that you might have just in your house or even after a camping trip. Let's zoom in on these a little bit here. We've got a plastic bottle, an aluminum can, a glass, that's not a glass jar, a cardboard box, a styrofoam tray, a glass jar, some Scout's Own maple syrup in a glass jar, that's some good stuff right there, and orange peels. Now, Jarrod, do you want to play a little game with me about this?
Oh, 2 things at once. I'm going to try. I think I'm up to 12. Where to go? But what's your game?
All right, so the game is simple. We're going to take all these items here. Let me get that in frame again. Here we go. We're going to take all these items, and we're going to put them in order of least decomposition time to most decomposition time.
All right, so breaks down the fastest to breaks down the longest.
Exactly.
Got it. Well, if I'm looking at your setup there, I'm thinking that, well, of course, the Scout's Own maple syrup is going to go fastest because I'm going to put that on my pancakes. But other than that, let's go for the orange peels. I think those will probably break down the fastest.
You think the orange peels are going first? All right, so we've got the orange peel. I'm going to do a little swapperoo here with the orange peels. All right, what do you...
Jake, I finally just went my 200 feet.
Seriously, it took you that long to walk 200 feet?
Hey, I was going pretty fast, I thought.
Well, that's fair, but I mean, that's a long way.
It is a long way. I'm just kind of getting my steps in for the day.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. Well, man, if it's 200 feet away, all right, I think I've got to do that on my own at home sometime. Test out 200 feet and make sure I feel comfortable with about how far it is. Do you normally have the tape measure when you're camping, Jarrod?
Not always, so it's good to test that ahead of time, plan ahead and prepare.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so I've got your orange peels.
Yep, orange peels.
Alrighty, so what do you think is next after those orange peels?
Well, I think I'm going to go for the cardboard box because that's kind of paper-like, and I think that's probably going to break down pretty fast as well.
Alrighty. Up next, we've also got the aluminum can still, along with the styrofoam tray and a glass jar and a plastic bottle. What are you thinking?
Well, I've heard that glass basically lasts forever because of science. So I'm going to put that one at the end.
All right, we'll put glass at the end. All right, feel good with the rest of this list? You want to keep jumbling?
Well, I know the styrofoam can kind of break down in little pieces, but that doesn't really count because it's still out there. So I think the tin can is probably right, and then the styrofoam, and then the plastic and the glass. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
And if you're playing along at home and you've made your own guesses in the comment box below, let's go through these and see how close we all are.
All right, that sounds perfect, Jarrod. So we're going to start with the orange peels. How long does it take for them to decompose? 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, and that's
Wow.
natural too. It's not like that's an unnatural food. It just takes 6 months to get, turned into dirt. All right.
Wow, I would have thought it was a lot shorter.
I know. All right, the cardboard box.
Mhm.
3 months.
3 months? Oh, I was wrong. The cardboard is faster.
Jarrod, I'm not a scientist. I only know what science tells me, and that's what it told me.
Cool.
The aluminum can takes 200 to 500 years.
Ooh, that's a big jump.
Yeah. The styrofoam tray, 500 years to infinity.
Ooh, infinity. That's a long time.
It is a super long time. Jarrod, do you go camping a lot with styrofoam?
I don't think I do. Normally, I'll pack things into either reusable bags, so I'm not trying to pack a bunch of bags that I then have to throw away. But also, it's just it's kind of a weird thing to stick in my backpack. So if I'm moving around, it might break up and no good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree, especially with how long it takes for it to break down. I just try to use it as little as possible. The plastic bottle takes 500 to 1,000 years, which maybe might be a little less than the styrofoam, but about the same. I give it to you.
Okay.
And the glass jar, 1 million or more years. That's incredible. That is bonkers.
So the best thing to do with glass is, one, of course, not leave it out in nature, but two, either reuse it so it's not going anywhere, or definitely recycle it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You always want to recycle glass. That's why I started rinsing that jar out so I can recycle it myself.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, so we've gone through where you have to leave your human waste if there's no indoor plumbing available. We've talked about the waste that you either brought into nature or you decide to pick off the ground, which is great because we're not leaving it out in nature. In fact, many times when I'm hiking, I'll dedicate one of my pockets as my trash pocket, and I'll have a little game with myself to see how many pieces of trash I can pick up from throughout the day, and then I'll count them up at the end, and hopefully I've beat my yesterday's score.
Jarrod, that's a great challenge, and it makes honestly, that proves to me that you try to be the best scout you can be every single day by making the world a better place, leaving it better than you found it. Awesome job.
Well, thanks. And they give us so many of these pockets on our pants. I figure one of them is supposed to be for trash.
Absolutely, it's a swinging deal for the environment.
Absolutely. All right, so we have another game to share, and this is called the cat hole relay, right? So we're going to put some of our learning together about how far we need to go and the cat holes that we need to dig. So we put together a little game, and you guys can play this at home as well. We found it to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to kind of set it up here. If we're doing this outdoors, you can actually dig a cat hole and then make sure you put it back afterwards so you leave no trace. But for an indoor game, you can use a little piece of rope. And if you followed along yesterday, you could tie it together with a square knot to make a little hole like this, a little circle. Or what are you using as your cat hole over there, Jake?
Jarrod, I'm using a couch cushion. Just because it's what I've had, I didn't want to be wasteful. A new cat hole.
That makes sense. All right, so we are going to try and show what it's like to kind of use the cat hole in a fun, scout-appropriate way. If my dog leaves my hole alone here, put that up here for now. Come on, Ben. Come here. And what I'm going to use as my my human waste is actually Finn's bone here, so he might be kind of interested.
Oh,
nice. Now this, of course, if we're about to use our cat hole, we're going to go right between our knees. We're going to grip it with our knees, and we're going to try and wobble our way to the cat hole, because sometimes that happens. And when I get to my cat hole, I need to drop it right on target, right? I want to make sure that I am aiming carefully, so it gets right where I want to. What are you using over there, Jake?
So what I'm using, I've got maybe a little more slippery of a setup, but I've got some used garbage bags, those like shopping bags you got. I got those, and then I've got a trusty duster in order to be able to, just in case it drops, I don't want to touch it with my hands. I want to use my duster.
That makes sense. So in an outdoor setting, you might use another stick or something and try and get your waste into the hole that needs to go, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Makes sense to me.
So, Jarrod,
right, so what
we're ready,
right?
right?
We are just about ready. What we want to do is make sure that we're about 20 feet away from our cat hole for this cat hole relay. Just remember, we have to be 200 feet away when we are out in the outdoors. So I've set it up here. I'm about 20 feet away from my cat hole. Are you 20 feet away from yours?
I think so. It's about, yeah.
In that case, grip with your knees, and we're going to do a count down, and we'll see who can get to their cat hole, get the waist into the cat hole fastest, and then back to the starting point. The first one to get back wins.
Makes sense. All right, I'm ready.
Set, and go. Go.
Don't leave the knees. Don't leave the knees. Don't leave the knees. And
aim carefully.
I made it. I made it right there.
Oh, right on target. Right on target. Gotta make it back.
Boom. I'm back.
Oh, you win, Jake. Well done.
Yes. Normally that's not my forte, but I guess I'm feeling pretty good about this thing here.
Yeah, you've been doing some practicing. Very good.
All righty.
Awesome. Well, so that is a fun cat hole relay that you can do, and if you have siblings, you can do it in a race, where as soon as the first person gets back to the starting point, the next person goes. And then if you have a couple different teams, you can see who gets through the relay race the fastest. It's a fun way to practice and make light of kind of a sticky situation that not everybody's comfortable with when you're going out in the outdoors. This is a really fun way to make light of it and to actually teach some valuable skills.
Absolutely. Jarrod, a lot of these tips I never knew when I went to Philmont even. It took me until after many treks in the outdoors to actually come up with and learn. And I am so thankful that I did. There's a lot of useful tips out there through Leave No Trace that just make life easier in the backcountry.
And not only easier, but actually more scenic and more relaxing. And I think that's what your last tip here on the disposal waste properly is, right?
Yes, it is, Jarrod. Yes, it is. You see, another one of those tips that we've got for being able to dispose of waste properly is to take the belt that we've got. Sometimes when we really got to go, we just want to make sure we stay comfortable. So we take our belt, we wrap it around said tree here. I just happened to find one in my living room. I wrap it around the tree.
Gorgeous tree, Jake.
Oh, thank you very much. Isn't it just like nature?
It is just like nature.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. So I've got it around the tree. Now I'm gripping my belt. This is called grip it and rip it, my junior.
Grip it and rip it, all right.
Some comfort while you're going. So you're going to grip it, and you're going to rip it. Pull yourself right back up. Of course, you're doing this in a cat hole.
Sure.
Is this even a good idea? Like, does this bother the tree or something like that? Well,
we don't want to leave a trace on the tree.
Yeah, we're not leaving the trace on the tree. And I mean, come on, tree. What are you thinking here? You think this is a good idea? Oh my gosh!
Oh, that is a happy tree.
Gotta love living creatures, man. Let me tell you.
Very good, very good. You that is an awesome tip, and like you, I have been learning right alongside you. That is not a tip that I've heard before, but that would be way more comfortable when you need to dispose of your waste in the greater outdoors.
It works out. It works out.
Now, kids and folks at home, make sure that you remember this skill is only for when you're out in the outdoors and no indoor plumbing is available. This is not a skill you want to practice for real at home. You got other facilities for that.
That is so true. That is so true. Oh, well, Jarrod, I tell you what, I'm just popping a squat here. We're having a lot of fun, but I'm getting kind of tired. I really appreciate all the help you're doing here, but I just need to take a load off for a minute.
Yeah, I feel like we've been getting to know each other pretty well. You've seen a little bit of my house and seen some more of yours. I feel like this is a great bonding activity.
Absolutely. Oh man, wouldn't it be great if we just had a souvenir or something to remember this day by?
Yeah, we've been having so much fun, Jake. I do not want to forget this. I'm looking at those pictures behind you. Do you think I could take one of those as a souvenir just to remember this experience by?
Oh, you want one of these pictures here? Yeah, I guess we could do that. Here, let's.
Oh, thank you.
Off the wall and here you go. Just.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh, now, Jarrod, I tell you, you're a great friend, and I don't mind letting you borrow pictures, but now there's one less there. And if everybody came over, took a picture, I'd be out of pictures pretty quick.
Yeah, there's one missing there, and it looks a little bit goofy, something's missing, of course. And yeah. I wouldn't want you to be rid of all your memories that you have there in your house.
I tell you what, Jarrod,
So,
instead of taking the photograph off my wall, you think you could take a screenshot of this real quick and remember the day by that?
that's a great idea. Didn't we talk about that earlier about leave nothing but footprints and take nothing but pictures?
Oh my gosh, I think you're right. I think you're leave what you find. That's really what you want to do here.
You're right. All right. Well, I'm going to take a screenshot here, and
Okay.
let me give your picture back, and you can get that back up on your wall.
That would be Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here, we'll put that right back.
Let's get that back where it belongs.
Yeah. Yeah, like it never even left.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm out in nature and I see a really cool antler or like a really spectacular rock, I always found that it's really most powerful when I'm there in nature, right? Like if I stick it up on my wall or have it on my my coffee table here, it might look cool, but it's not as powerful as when I found it in nature and like its natural habitat. Plus, as you said, if everybody that came and found one of those took it, there'd be nothing else for anybody else to enjoy, right?
You're absolutely right. You want to make sure that you leave all the things that you find cool in nature because odds are other people think that's cool too. It might be the whole reason why people go there to begin with.
Exactly. Now, sometimes it's hard to explain to maybe a younger sibling or something that no, you can't take that leaf, or no, leave that antler behind. But if you explain it that you're really giving the gift of that really cool experience to the people that come after you, it makes you feel a little better about leaving those things behind. You're giving a gift to somebody else rather than necessarily denying yourself something.
Absolutely. You know what? It also creates a cool challenge to leave nothing but footprints behind. Just a cool little thing.
If you think about it all day, I'm going to try and leave as little as possible. It's like a little game.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
right along those lines,
I was going to say, we've gone through, I think, 5 points already. We've only got a couple left.
2 left. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So the next point, Jarrod, help me out. What's the next point? I can't remember.
Well, along with all that wildlife that we've been seeing traces of, if we actually do see wildlife itself, we want to be respectful of that because we're going into the wildlife's home, and we're really the visitors there. They're the ones that live there. It's like somebody coming into your house.
That makes a lot of sense.
So we want to be respectful of that wildlife, right? And I have a really cool way to teach you on how far you should be away from wildlife to know that you're being as respectful as you can and having as little impact as you can. It's called the thumbs up rule. So can you show me your thumbs up?
All right, my thumbs up rule? Okay. All right.
Fantastic. Now, I want you to hold that out in front of you at arm's length. I want you to shut one of your eyes, okay?
All right, eyes shut.
Now, if I am, say, looking at the squirrel out my back window here, I want to make sure that I can cover that entire animal up with my thumb and my eyes closed, or one eye closed, so that I can't see the squirrel at all. So if my thumb, with this perspective, covers up the entire animal, I know that I'm probably a pretty good distance, so I'm not disturbing them very much. Now, if that squirrel is, say, my dog, he's a little bigger, he's a little bit closer. I've got to really back up here to make sure that I can't see him anymore. Or somebody like you, Jake, you're pretty far away. I think I'm doing pretty good. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good, but Jarrod, I'm way more interested in covering up my dirty dishes in my kitchen like this. As opposed
Ooh, that's a good idea. And if I slowly back away from them, I can see that there are fewer and fewer dishes I have to do.
Exactly, they're just gone. But you say I should do this with wildlife too because I want to keep enough space between me and them, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You want us to keep that distance so that you're not disturbing them. They can go about and do their natural thing, and you're not having any impact on them. As I said before, can you imagine if a deer just came running through your front door and started doing deer things inside? You'd be a little bit upset, right?
That would put a damper on my day. Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to be respectful to them, just as we want our visitors to be respectful of us in the place that we live.
That makes a lot of sense. And Jarrod, you jogged my memory here talking about respecting wildlife. There's another point to leave the face, the last one of the day we got to cover, and that
sure is
other visitors.
Yes.
So I've always been told that respecting other visitors happens when we follow all the points of leave no trace, and we make sure that we're not being too loud. That's That's pretty much what it boils down to, right? We're not wasting anybody else's resources. We're not leaving any traces that take away from the beauty of nature. And if we're camping, like say, if we're camping with some other folks, we don't want to like make too much noise, basically. We don't want to drown out their fun with our voices.
Yeah, I know when I go into nature, I'm usually there for some reflection to really connect myself with the natural environment. And that natural environment isn't necessarily a bunch of people next door blasting the music or making a big racket.
Okay. Well, here, Jarrod, I've got a fun way, because I've also got some neighbors. I live in an apartment. I've got neighbors that live real close. Now, I love screaming out some camp songs, but sometimes
I know you do.
In full volume. So, can I show you a trick?
Please.
Okay. So, we're going to sing one of my favorite songs, all right? It's
one of my favorite songs, too.
Perfect. It's a Say What I Say song.
This is the Say What I Say song.
And it's a Do What I Do song.
And it's a Do What I Do song.
And we're going to be respectful by using our loudest whispering voices.
We're going to be respectful by using our loudest whispering voice.
Exactly. You ready to sing along?
I'm ready.
All right. There was a moose.
There was a moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
There was a moose.
There was a moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
Sing oh way-oh.
Oh, oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
The moose's name was Fred.
The moose's name was Fred.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
The moose's name was Fred.
The moose's name was Fred.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
Oh, we're gonna skip the oh.
Okay.
He drank his juice with care.
He drank his juice with care.
Until he spilled it in his hair.
Until he spilled it in his hair.
He drank his juice with care.
He drank his juice with care.
Until he spilled it in his hair.
Until he spilled it in his hair.
Now he's a sticky moose.
Now he's a sticky moose.
But he's a moose all full of juice.
But he's a moose all full of juice.
He's a sticky moose.
He was a sticky moose.
But he's a moose all full of juice.
He's a moose all full of juice.
Zinging oh, way-oh.
Zinging oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Way-oh, 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 way-oh.
Jarrod, it brings such a smile to my face when I get to sing that song. I hope you had a lot of fun. I did too, and my neighbors are not mad.
That was a fantastic song. Thanks for sharing, Jake.
Anytime. Well, Jarrod, if I'm not mistaken, that's all 7 points to leave no trace. That's it for tonight.
I believe you're right. So let's recap. That was number 1, know before you go. Number 2, travel and camp on durable surfaces. Number 3, dispose of waste properly.
Yep.
Number 4, need 2 hands for this one. Take pictures, leave footsteps, or leave what you find.
Okay.
And number 5, be careful with fire.
Fire, yep, careful, yep.
Number 6, be respectful of wildlife.
Including moose, the moose named Fred.
Including the sticky moose named Fred.
Exactly.
And finally, number 7, be kind to other visitors with a peace sign and a high five. Or a quiet song.
Absolutely. Well, Jarrod, I'm sending you some peace and a high five right now.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks so much.
And a little thank you from Finn here too for including him on our little excursion here. Now, if you are a Cub Scout or a Scouts VSA member, this does fulfill some requirements. So check in the comments below after the video ends we'll share with you exactly those requirements that this can fulfill, as long as you practice along at home and you take these skills with you on your next outing into the great outdoors.
Perfect. And Jarrod, I just want to say thank you for putting all your time into this, because I know you're still preparing for all the summer programs we're looking forward to. Plus, you and your team are putting these videos on like super often. So thank you so much for keeping scouting going in our homes.
Well, it's our pleasure, and I appreciate you being a part of this, Jake. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Jarrod, that's all I've got. I'll leave you be. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this today. I had a blast.
Very good. And bye to everybody out at Lake Erie Council. And remember to share any experiences that you've been doing along with us with that hashtag scouting at home. And we'd love to see you keeping scouting alive and thriving in your own homes. So share those with us on social media. And we'll catch you for our next broadcast, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be this coming Monday for both some Scouts BSA merit badges, Cub Scout Wolf Den meeting, and a Scout Strong presentation, making sure we're staying physically active while we're here in our homes. So have a good night, everybody, and stay safe.
See you guys.